We start this bulletin with the biggest story coming out of South Asia. With violence intensifying in Afghanistan, New Delhi has now issued a fresh advisory for immediate evacuation. In a security advisory issued by the Indian Embassy in Afghanistan, all Indian nationals have been advised to make immediate travel arrangements to return to India. And Indian companies operating in Afghanistan have been strongly advised to immediately withdraw their employees out of project sites. This is the third security advisory made by the Indian mission in Kabul. The statement mentions the urgency for Indian citizens to fly back to their home country before air services or commercial flights are discontinued with Afghanistan. In fact, today a special flight will be sent to the Afghan city of Mazar-e-Sharif in the evening to bring Indians back home. Now, we will, of course, keep getting you all the latest updates from Kabul, and our correspondent, Anas Malik, is on the ground in Blue Mosque, Mazar-e-Sharif, right now. Anas, now you have been reporting for us live from the heart of the conflict. What can you tell us about the latest advisory from the Indian Embassy?
Well, yes, situation continues to deteriorate in Afghanistan. With each passing hour, it is changing. It is slipping down, and where I am right now at the gates of Mazar, there is fighting that is ongoing in Police District 17 at the electricity station that is coming in from Uzbekistan that supplies electricity to the entire country. That is the district where there is currently a fierce battle that is ongoing. It is being repulsed. The attack is being repulsed by the militia of Ustad Ata Noor and the Afghan National Army. The Afghan Taliban, on the other hand, have claimed to have overrun their 7th province in a span of 4 days, straight 4 days. And this is they've claimed of overrunning the province of Farah, that is southwest to where I am, in the province of Balkh. The province of Balkh has currently been encircled by the Taliban. In the past 4 days, they've claimed of making major gains in the province, in the areas of north. The government has claimed of killing more than 500 plus Taliban men in its actions, including that of airstrikes as well.
Right.
Today, the Indian mission in Mazar-e-Sharif issued an advisory and said that it would be evacuating Indian citizens at the earliest. There is a special flight that would be flying in later tonight, given to understand, and that would be taking Indian citizens from Mazar-e-Sharif back to India, given the grim situation that the city is currently facing, because
right.
As I said, Taliban are literally at the gates of Mazar, and there is a fighting that is currently ongoing. Yes.
Right. Now, Anas, we're also getting reports that Afghan forces claim to have killed 47 Taliban terrorists in an airstrike in central Kandahar. Let's focus also on Mazar-e-Sharif. What is the situation right now? How precarious is the situation, as a matter of fact? And what kind of gains have the Taliban made?
Well, the situation at least in Kandahar city, it is currently relatively under control of the Afghan government, both in Kandahar city and Lashkargah. In fact, the pushback both that the Afghan Taliban have been given by the Afghan forces is something that is very remarkable. But overall, in Mazar city, if I talk to you, there is a general sense of insecurity. There is a consideration to put the city under a night curfew. It has not been implemented as yet. As a precautionary measure, the markets close at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. maximum by 6 p.m. before sunset. This is what I have learned from the locals. The locals say this mosque that I'm standing behind, the Blue Mosque, the locals say that this is here to stay. That it was here when the Taliban used to rule Mazar-e-Sharif back in 1999, and it will be here. And it will be here even if they overrun the city. But there is a general sense of deprivation on the part of American forces, because the locals believe that the American withdrawal was a bit premature, and that has plunged the country into this ongoing chaos where we are seeing renewed attacks at the hands of the Taliban.
Right,
yes,
Anas, my final question for you. You've been reporting for us, bringing us the latest update from the on-ground situation, the latest developments from Afghanistan. How likely is it at this point that Mazar-e-Sharif will fall to the terror group?
Well, as I said, it will be a tough battle because Ustad Atanu's militia has been putting up a strong fight at the gates of Mazar Sharif. And in case if Mazar Sharif falls, because it is considered as the economic capital of the northern side, it is the largest city in the northern Afghanistan. So in case if Mazar Sharif falls, it will be a major blow. And that is the reason we're seeing a fight being put up by the militia. The militia is not a formal army. It has been renamed as an uprising army. It comprises of those of locals within Afghanistan, within that particular area, tribesmen, locals, those locals whose villages have been overrun by the Taliban, those locals who have suffered at the hands of the Taliban. So they say that they don't want to give up on their country, on their piece of land, on their city, and they would protect that. So there is, as I said, as we speak, it's a 50-50 battle because there are fierce skirmishes that are ongoing around the city, in the outskirts of Mazar city, but the effects of which have not directly been faced by the city, within the city as yet. But yes, that has led to a general sense of insecurity within Mazar city itself. Yes, Priyanka.
Anas, thank you so much for all those updates. We'll of course come back to you for more about the latest situation unfolding in Afghanistan. Let's move on now. Our principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibal is now joining us with the latest from New Delhi. Siddhant, we just heard from Anas Malik, who is in Afghanistan, reporting for WION about the latest developments on ground. What can you tell us about the status of evacuation of Indians after the security advisory?
Well, we know that India has, in fact, given the go-ahead for the evacuation of its nationals from Mazar-e-Sharif. Remember, it is a crucial city that is important in terms of Afghanistan's connectivity to the Central Asian region. In fact, it is the capital of the Balkh province, and this province has borders with Central Asian countries like Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan as well. And the fall of Mazar-e-Sharif can be a big blow for the Afghan government. We already have seen Herat suffering. Kandahar province, of course, has largely been overrun by Taliban. Of course, the city is still a no-go area in terms of Taliban's presence there, but it could, of course, fall anytime soon. And it looks like there was an assessment that the entire military offensive by the Taliban will be launched towards the end of August, when the Americans will be finally leaving. The final forces will be leaving. 95% of the forces have already left the country. But the swift blitzkrieg by the Taliban is something that has shocked everyone in the region and, of course, at in the globe as well. And it looks like that towards the end of September or maybe towards early October, we can see the start of the Battle of Kabul, with the Taliban making its strong presence on the doorstep of the national capital. But nonetheless, India is, of course, ready for Plan B, and this Plan B we have seen the operationalization with, of course, India evacuating its diplomats from its consulate in Mazar-e-Sharif. Remember, India had consulates in Jalalabad, Herat, which were closed last year. This year we saw India withdrawing its diplomats from Kandahar, the southern city, the second most important city in the country, and now, of course, evacuating its diplomats from Mazar-e-Sharif. So that leaves the Indian embassy in Kabul, and of course we have seen the advisories coming in, especially for the media personals who are present there. It could be, it is largely because the Indian media personnel could be targeted by Taliban. We have seen already the images coming from the areas occupied by Taliban. These are really heartbreaking visuals with children and women being impacted by the ongoing military offensive by Taliban.
Thanks, Siddhant, for joining us with all those inputs. We'll continue to track all the on-ground developments in Afghanistan.